Alright, this is Calibos, and we're playing Planescape Torment, and apparently I have just lost my recording. So, I went ahead and just went to Mebeth, and, we had basically 12 minutes of conversation about being a mage and how to be a mage and exciting things like that. And then we bought all of her spells. So, not that button. So this is the screen for spells. So we have Identify, Chromatic Orb. All right.
What do you wish of Ignis?
So for example, we've learned that Ignis actually has spells, and that he will fling them, and he can learn spells. So I've updated the spell list here as well. And we need to get Dakon a level 4 spell. Let's rest again really quick. So now, when I select spell, I can just go ahead and do this ridiculous thing. So his AC is 3. That's pretty good, actually. Yeah. Of course, he's got crazy fire resistance. So he uses his fireball and fist. That's good to know. Let's get out of here.
All right.
Well, that was very disappointing. I quite enjoyed the conversation. Sorry that you guys missed it. Let's go to... Let's see if we can find some more spells. Actually, let's not worry about that. So somebody told me that we could come here. Yeah, Lothar suggested we might go to the Civic Fest Hall where someone might be able to tell me more of the hag. Let's actually start from the beginning. Let's talk to this guy. Okay, we don't care about that. Questions? Okay, we don't care. Talk to Splinter. Had some questions. Is there someone here who might know about Ravel? Closes his eyes and thinks briefly. We would recommend that you speak to a wizard by the name of Quell about Ravel. Quell was always somewhere in the Fest Hall, most often in the private sensorium. I was jesting, not lying. Little to say that we've not told you. We are a splinter, Dormant, the Vessel, demigod son of Ishtar, Ivisahar, and priest king of Ur. Planeswalkers come to our world and told us of the society. I see. Tell me about the Society of Sensation. Might I become in order to join the Society of Sensation, must be willing and prepared to share their own experiences. 5 are required, 1 from each of the senses. Alternately, one may contribute a single experience with strong elements from all 5 senses. There must be either new sensation or improvements upon our current stock. Should we find them acceptable, they will be placed into sensory stones, and you, having become a sensate, will be taught the sensory touch. It will allow you to draw others' wounds into yourself, healing them by accepting the suffering. Actually, I'd like to contribute 1 experience that involves all 5 senses. I woke up not knowing where I was on a cold, blood-slicked iron slab in the bowels of a mortuary, a place where only the dustmen and the corpses in their care have seen. Go on. My entire body reeked of embalming fluid, but even the smell of that was not enough to match the coppery scent of gore around me. Dozens of bodies lie in the countless bloody slabs like the one I rose from, all in the process of being gutted, flayed, and the like by the nightmarish clockwork devices, for reasons unknown. The only sounds were the squeals of labored metal and the unsteady tread of undead workers as they pushed the slabs about the mortuary on rusted iron tracks. And I even left out the part about the chattering skull that flew at me as soon as I was upright. Will that suffice, Splinter? Yes, we shall go to an empty stone now to record your experiences. You will then be granted access to those privileges only allowed to members of the Society of Sensation, as well as taught the sensory touch. Accompany him to record your sensations. You return to Civic. Welcome you into the Society of Sensation, Traveler. May further journeys and experiences pave your road to the great truths of the multiverse. Someplace I could rest. That's all there was to
feel stronger.
And level. So, spells. Identify. No.
All right.
Death is not an end, but a beginning of more suffering. Nod to Morte quietly. For when you die, you shall not cease to exist. No, far from it. The outer planes shall welcome you to their breasts. There's a new life, one such as you've never known, awaits you there. That's for sure. Keep listening. If you have been a goodly sort of gentleman, steadfast in charity towards your fellow bloods, perhaps the light blanketed slopes of Mount Celestial shall house you. When you die, your spirit shall pass on unto this place, dwelling as a petitioner in the beauty of golden mornings, soft sunlight that caresses you sighs dreamily. Perhaps you lived your life to betray others and get ahead, giving lies instead of truth, backstabbing others, all to accomplish your own goals. Cold red, blood red carcery, the plane where all turncoats fall when they pass on, shall be the cage that imprisons you. As a petitioner on this plane, you shall live a life of treachery and treacheries, of lies and lying, knowing a life without trust. He hunches over. His eyes dart back and forth. And perhaps you've lived a life of bloodthirsty evil, contemptuous of your fellow man, laying others low and doing as you please without a care for who and what you hurt. Then is perhaps one of the lower planes, Baator, the chaotic swirling layers of the abyss that shall welcome you. Evil to the core are the spirits that come to this plane, and most are doomed to mindless cruelty and suffering or servitude in the dreaded, he whispers dramatically, blood war. No matter where you go, know this, you shall be embarking on a new life, my sigillians. You should be able to start anew without the burden of memory or your past life. Your sole goal, if you will, he smiles at his own humor, is to merge with this new plane that you are on, becoming one with the ideals and the very substance. You should be one of the inhabitants or the petitioners on this plane, or ideally one of the building blocks upon which the plane is built. It is the goal of all petitioners to accomplish this goal. You, he claps his hands together for emphasis, must clap, hold, clap to, clap your clap ideals. Your ideals, good or evil, are chaos somewhere in between. As you approach the alignment of the plane, your journey will end as you become part of the plane itself. This is glorious. And what is... what wash? Death's advocate. The speaker's head turns to face Morte, frowning slightly. He leans out, trying to see who spoke. A question? Question from one of the living, perhaps? Yes, I have a question. What if someone can't die? Everyone dies, my friend. Suppose you can't. Well then, based on what I've said, you've never reached the outer planes and never become a petitioner. Audience becomes silent, feeling the pressure. If you go first, I shall do so. Agreed. Very well. Come up to the stage, my friend. Kill yourself or I'll do it now. I must confess that I'm not quite ready to depart this life. So this great new life on the outer planes may not be all it's supposed to be? The speaker is aware of his hypocrisy, but is afraid of the alternative. Perhaps not. He glances at the audience. Well, certainly not now. That's what I thought. I have no more questions. He looks eager to wrap things up. Then I shall end this session. I shall continue to lecture here at the hall, so tell your friends. That's funny. Three planes aligned. Okay, so I am not seeing the person that we were supposed to look for. Guys, they're crooked. Sensate. Journal. Didn't dude say that we were supposed to look for someone in here? Some questions. Ravel. Quell. Is always somewhere in the fest hall, most often in the private sensorium. Ah, there we go. Quell. Greetings. Older man is chewing on something, muttering softly to himself. After a moment, there's a crack as he crunches down the object in his mouth and swallows it. His bushy, brassy, white eyebrows furrow for a moment, then rise and then furrow again. Greetings. Without so much as looking at you, the man reaches into his tunic, pulls out a puce-colored ball, regards it curiously for a moment, then pops it into his mouth. The man frowns, then waves you away, and then nods to himself thoughtfully as he savors the flavor of whatever he's got in his mouth. The man smirks, then bites his thumb at you. Wow, that's cold. Then abruptly pauses. His cheeks swell, and with a violent gag, he spits up a large black fly, which begins to buzz around the chamber. Mine Erosian candles be damned, cries, shaking his fist at the insect. He whirls on you. What? Some questions. Pops a small red candy in his mouth. Do you always traipse about molesting poisoned mages with your ignorant prattle? Babbling, blathering, chittering, chattering. Candy shoots from his mouth on chattering, flying in a high arc to land on the floor with a wet poop. He stares at it sadly. Sorry about your candy. It was so tasty, too. He mules. He suddenly looks up, snarling. Sorry, as you should be, you piking dung beetle. Mages deserve respect. Bashers like you should know their proper place. Begins to jump up and down. Proper place. I care not, you yeasty, beef-witted pignut. His eyes bulges out as he jabs his finger at you. Now off with you, and do not return without being prepared to show me the proper respect. Come bearing tribute, a gift. Suddenly draws close and whispers from the side of his mouth. Candies or chocolate would be nice, but nothing common, mind you. Bring something exotic.
Updated my journal.
Okay. Something exotic. Oh, there it is. Where can we get an exotic thing for him to eat? Not here. got those. Let's... Let's do that. Rule of 3 copper earring, minor copper blessing. You receive a small earring from the folding note in the mouth. It's a beautiful earring, but despite its beauty, all it seems to do is remind you how strange this world is. Minor blessing from one of the gods on some backwater. When held in the hand, the word copper's whispered, it gives the wearer 33 copper commons. The blessing can be used 3 times before it's used up. Nice. You have to offer me. Can I identify any of this other stuff that I have? Maybe not. So let's sell. All right. You. Leave her alone. What about you? What are you? No, thanks.
All right.
Just passing by. What are you selling? Another time. Can I see what you have? Nothing.
You ever get the feeling you're being watched? You are.
What do you have? What do you have? Okay, so let's... let's actually purchase something. Let's... So do we have the shift spice? No? How are we supposed to, like, get it if he doesn't actually sell us anything? All right, let's roll out of this place. Anyway, it's been 25 minutes. We did find a little bit more. We just need to find something for dude to eat, which is kind of weird, but there we are. But we'll go ahead and take care of that in the next episode. I hope you liked it. If you did, leave me a like. If you didn't, don't. Questions, comments, concerns, you know, leave them below the video. And again, apologies for the recording going off and you guys missing that chunk. And so, have a good night.